Hey gamers, Don here for Need to Know, and today I'm taking a look at Conception Plus, Maidens of the 12 Stars. Conception is a JRPG series that the West gained access to backwards. Conception 2, available on PSVita and 3DS, was available long before this title trickled down to PS4, but there's no need to play it to understand what's going on in Conception Plus. Namely, choosing the best waifu, engaging in cringy, semi-ecchi activities, and dungeon diving. With a name like Conception, you had to have known there was something going on here. I won't spend too much time talking about the cast, as I have a separate video up just for that purpose, the link to which you can find in the description below. Personally, I prefer the cast of Conception 2, which was significantly less lolly. For those unfamiliar with the term, it basically means legal jailbait. In Conception Plus, as misogynistic as it sounds, you play as a character known as God's Gift, who gets his pick from a harem of star maidens. What you do with these star maidens is a ritual called class mating, which produces star children that will fight alongside God's Gift on the battlefield. Sounds a little crazy, I know. Crazier still is the absolute fan service provided by the primarily female cast, ranging from sweet declarations of love to being hit on so hard you can fall assault charges with the police. The story is told via dialogue exchanges, and you'll alternate between a world hub in which you move around by selecting from locations, and the labyrinths in which you take control of your character. I'll admit the 3D models are a little rough looking when compared to the anime art they're based off of, and the lips don't always match up to the voices leaving them. Voice acting comes in English and Japanese flavors, which are nice options to have. Conception Plus won't win any prizes in terms of RPG elements. There are no stat points to assign, and though there are character classes, skills are learned automatically at pre-established levels. There's a shop in town, but you really don't need to access it because what drops in the dungeons will almost always be better. Star Children are a neat idea, but limited classes and the monotonous nature of combat diminishes that novelty. Dungeons are zodiac themed and also kind of cool to look at, but they get old quickly. There are maybe 20 distinct enemy types that you'll see again and again, but with a different color palette. Those enemies are pretty easy to kill, and for the most part I left auto combat active. Boss fights pose a random difficulty spike that may require grinding to beat. There are also elemental affinities and resulting strengths and weaknesses, but really no reason to pay attention to them. The main draw is the titillation of class mating, which is often referenced and sounds just like sex, but somehow isn't sexual at all, and getting closer to your favorite waifu or waifus. The writing is good enough to warrant a playthrough even if you're not totally invested in gameplay. I'm 50 hours in, and I'm only 70% done with the story events for my top 4 girls, with the remainder of the cast lagging behind in the high 30s. I still also have 2 of the 12 dungeons to complete, though the 13th final dungeon has already opened, and I could finish the main story at any time. Blazing through dungeons and not bothering with gaining intimacy with your classmates is pointless because some of the stronger Star Children classes are locked behind a stat requirement that can only be met by deepening your bonds. These ladies respect themselves and will only get down and dirty with another girl if you have them at an affection level of 3 or more. Again, watch my other video. The maidens themselves cannot enter dungeons, so deepening your bonds comes down to spending time outside of the dungeons with them. Because this is a JRPG, there is a required titillating hot spring scene, as well as some meaningful moments during which you learn origin stories, all of which are delivered via at least partially acted dialogue exchanges between your chosen maiden and your main character. I'm sure you're wondering if I recommend Conception Plus given the 50-50 spread of pros and cons here. Before I sum up the video, I have a couple of counter questions. Do you enjoy story more than anything in an RPG? Are you familiar or comfortable with Japanese character tropes? Do you enjoy fan service regardless of if it may seem out of place or unwarranted? Are you okay with grindy, easy battles with a difficulty spike of a boss every now and then? Are you familiar with the task of re-rolling characters until you get the stats you want? If you answered yes to at least 3 of these questions, then yes, I can recommend Conception Plus to you. I'm a little more hesitant to recommend it to those looking for a great JRPG because while I enjoyed my time with Conception, I couldn't agree with the distinction. Get it on sale if you do decide to pick it up, and let me know who your favorite waifu is in the comments below. If you liked the review, please give it a thumbs up so more people can see it, gamers. I've been Don from Need to Know. Stay in the know.